I had the pleasure of meeting Rafer and talking with him for a long time last year at the European Regionals, where Mortality was slated to go to Worlds, and then didn't. It was a huge upset when SK burned through that bracket. And I'm really excited. At this point, I don't think there's literally any way they don't go to LAN.
Yeah, mathematically they go to LAN.
They're guaranteed. So I'm really excited to be able to talk to Rafer again. I mean, he has such a brilliant mind for the game, and unfortunately, London Conspiracy is going to have to experience more of that as we go into Game 2.
Yeah, Rafer actually joined me when I was casting the Challenger Cup. Rafer joined me in a moment of panic. So it was a fun story. Myself, Hinduman, and Kret were the commentators for the Challenger Cup.
Hinduman?
Hinduman.
Never heard of him.
English guy. I don't know. He's got a flag in his office. I'll show you. But in any event, we were the commentators. Hinduman was out for the weekend, and Kret all of a sudden got sick in the middle of the night. I'm up on Twitter at 4 a.m. trying to find a commentator for a 5 a.m. broadcast. Because back in the day, we did 5 a.m. Challenger Cup broadcasts for Europe.
No, I know.
Rafer, I wake him up, and he's like, "Oh man, I'll do it." He's like just waking up. He's on Mortality at the time. He joined me for almost half the broadcast before he bailed. It was fantastic. Great guy to work out with. And he's experiencing much success here, and he still hates that Aphrodite.
It's crazy because, I remember talking to him at the beginning of this team's inception back in Split 2, and I'm like, Emilitoo? Like Dimi? Right? Like, we've seen these guys play. Like, you're expecting to go to Worlds with this team? And he's like, listen, these are the best players in Europe.
Mechanically.
They just don't know how to play Smite. Right? He's like, I'm gonna teach them. I'm gonna shape this team. I'm gonna turn them into superstars. And I don't know whether it was his guidance or them just, like, leveling up and figuring things out, but they have turned into the 5 scariest players that you can find in any role.
I'll agree. And it's fun. If you looked at this roster.
Except for Rafer.
Cirquet banned out, so Cherio won't be able to do that. If you look at this roster, there are a bunch of players that you never wrote off. You don't say, "Oh, that guy's terrible."
Right.
But you're not drafting him first on your fantasy squad.
Right. You're not going to Worlds with that team. But we were incredibly wrong.
Rafer saw something. Rafer saw something that nobody else did, because there was a reason that these players were available.
And I encourage all of you to either, Google, find it, rent it, do whatever you need to do. Find Moneyball. It's an American movie about a person who drafted a bunch of baseball players who were like middle of the pack, sometimes low pack. Their whole goal was just get on base, and it wound up being one of like the greatest teams in baseball history.
Right.
It was an incredible movie, and I have to attribute this every single time because it's exactly what he did. He's just like, I'm going to find people that can just get kills.
Yeah, he just understood it, and credit to him and this team as they go on again. We'll see them at regionals. We'll see how they do, and hopefully in their minds make it to Worlds. Janus being the first pick for Epsilon. Yammyn playing this character.
This is probably the best pick that they could get. They love global presence. They love being able to work as a team. So for them to get one of the most important globals in the game with their space and time, life is good.
Neith going to be selected here for London Conspiracy. Now, London Conspiracy has had a lot of success with Neith. I love the way Shaggyshenk uses Neith because he'll use the ultimate for setup more often than not.
Wukong going to be grabbed with Hell still on the table. Will we see Demi go into the counter pick? Now, remember, Purple Pot Hell, Wukong doesn't kill her.
Yeah.
Ever. Wukong can't even clear the wave anymore.
And don't forget, Dimi has largely adjusted to play the top-tier warriors. Dimi really comes from a world of playing mages.
Nuwa going to be locked in, so it's likely we're going to see Nuwa go to the solo. Also, a decent matchup against some Wukong. Given the fact that she has Fog and minions, it's very hard to get those creeps into the tower and do what Sun Wukong does so well, and that's counter push. Super hard. And then rotate, right? You can't really do that against a Nuwa because she'll take your tower if you leave the lane with minions, and then she can global ult to have presence anyway.
Thor going to be reprised onto adapting, and just a little insight into the thought process here.
Globals.
Of course. We saw Janus be played in the soul lane just now on the side of Team Dignitas, and of course the famous Divios play on Janus. But the reason that Brandon and I aren't thinking to see Janus in the soul lane is because Epsilon, as you said, they love those globals, and by putting Janus in the mid lane for Yammyn, he can go left or right. It's just more presence, which is something that Epsilon has seemingly valued very highly.
Batz going to be taken here.
The party monkey.
This is not what I expected. I love the double monkey draft, though. I think their frontline presence is incredible right now. And given the fact that Batz can utilize crit super well, this actually gives them a, maybe not hyper carry, but a hyper carry-esque presence in the endgame where one lucky hit, with that dice roll could spell the end of a rather squishy mage.
Fear No Evil, one of my favorite ultimates in the game. Unfortunately, Batz is
Did Yammyn just get banned?
Yammyn did get banned, of course.
Not of course. It's like Rafer's worst god. He even he's only been playing it like it feels like practice. This is like his least favorite from what I've seen.
Well, the problem is they banned out his other support option of Circuit. Rafer, of course,
Incoming Thanatos.
known for playing real crazy stuff. You know, I'm not convinced that this Thor is strictly adaptings.
That's true. It could be Raffers, and it could be Thanatos jungle, or they can swap it and put Thanatos support.
He's not picked yet, Brandon.
Come on, man.
If at all.
They're gonna pick
Thanatos,
it.
I mean, I have more hours on Thanatos than anybody. I would love to see him played, just not in support. Geb, the defensive choice for
That's what
EmilZ
they need.
here on London Conspiracy.
That's what they need. That Geb shield against those globals. That's what you need. This is really important. The issue is they also pick Geb into a team that's not looking for crits, so he's not gaining much from his passive.
Sure.
But the Geb shield's still going to be massive in this regard.
Also, because London Conspiracy, outside of the Neith, they are largely the team that has to answer. Epsilon, just from the 3 gods they've chosen, and with an Muzen comp being picked up for the Hunter, Epsilon want to start the fights. They don't want to respond to the fights. They can, but the new ultimate, the Thor dunk, the Janus portals, they're looking to start the fights. So the Hunbats, the counter engagement that comes out of Fear No Evil, the response to the rest of these characters, London Conspiracy is able to really respond.
So London Conspiracy is like, all right, our Neith is pretty good. Let's pick Neith. We'll put her in the duo lane, right? And then we'll have them fight, you know, some nonsense, right? And then they're like, Ares and Muzen Cobb, enjoy your life. Could be ADC Scylla.
I don't think it's going to be an ADC Scylla.
We saw it a few times.
We have. It's happened.
Dude, Allied in Season 1 bodied with that
I remember
character.
that. Allied played it. Much different world when there was a blue buff in the side lane,
true.
though. So with that change...
She's not clearing against a Muzen Cobb. Like, that's not real life.
Exactly. I mean, a Muzen Cobb, well, the Amusing Crab has one of the best wave clears in the game, and Scylla doesn't.
No, in fact, one of the worst.
Exactly.
She doesn't do well at jungle camps. She doesn't do well at mid camps.
Now, once level 8, 9 hit, different story.
9 is where she comes online.
But there's a long period of time between levels 1 and level 9.
So starting off, not seeing too many potions here. In fact, I think we're only going to see one, and that's going to be from Adapting. Cherio choosing to go for boots once again.
Yeah, so Adapting again wants to fight before level 5. Cherio, and this is 100% the go-to. Basically, we can boil it down, and it gets more complicated, but a good takeaway is Red Pot, I want to fight prior to level 5. Potions and boots, I want to fight after level 5. And Hunbats doesn't really exist before level 5. Now and then you can get lucky with a good slow off of the jump and a follow-up.
He needs 2 crits. He has 3 moves before level 4, for level 5. He must get 2 crits to get a kill.
And it's just, it's too much dice roll for a lot of players. Cherio,
it's way too much dice
one
roll.
of those players. And largely, I mean, Hunbats can affect a team fight so much, affect the game so much, but is largely an ult bot.
Yeah, I mean, Fear No Evil, it controls space, it forces fears. You know, it's more than just you have to burn your beads. It's your camera gets turned around and your communication gets limited because things change from, okay, let's focus this person to, I'm feared I have to get out.
It's so disruptive.
It's very disruptive.
And that, it just allows, it's an initiation tool, it's a counter initiation tool, it's a peel, it's a single target gank ability. There's so much that that ability does.
Whoa.
But that's really it. What are you excited about?
Well, I'm saying the right side was cleared so fast on the side of blue compared to red. I mean, they were like 5 seconds behind. Neither player decides that they're going to go for the left camps. In fact, they're still standing. This is a small advantage right now for the red team. If they can get these creeps down, they're going in. Wow.
Here comes the portal from Janus. Unstable Vortex is
Whoa,
strong,
where
and
did you come
Ares
from?
has already shown up. No Sentinel coming out from the mid laner, and the Flames put him in the ground. Rafer with first blood for Epsilon.
And I'm pretty sure they got at least one of those creeps as well. I have no idea where. I didn't even see him coming.
That was the game plan for Epsilon.
And look at this. He's like, get out of here. Sit under your tower. You're rotating.
That was the game plan for Epsilon, and this is what I have seen so much of, Brandon, when it comes to Epsilon, is just game plans. I feel like Epsilon literally have a playbook where they just execute from. All right, this game, we're going to get the level 1 or the 1 minute rotation.
That's 2. Oh, but the Geb Shield cleanses the cripple, allowing her to backflip. The reapplication wasn't fast enough, which means she's able to jump out of there just barely. God bless, right, Geb? Jeez. Ares, man, he's just one of those characters that you're like, he's good. He's not the best character in the game, right? But I'd still rather fight any other top tier than him.
He's just a hassle.
He's a jerk.
Yes.
He's a cripple. He does cripples and he does a ton of damage. Like, it's just obnoxious.
Do you remember that song? That song was really obnoxious.
What song?
The You're a Jerk song?
No.
I'll show you later. It was by the New Boys. The hook was, "You're a jerk, I know." And they just repeated that like 20 times. It was absolutely awful.
All right.
That's pretty much what Ares is saying the entire time as his chains come out. He's going to hit 2. But we'll visit the solo lane where Zashu is having a hard time facing up against Epsilon's Dimi, previously
I
Ninja
don't
Dimi.
think this is in Nua's favor, but it's certainly not an easy matchup. And it's more likely that Dimi's going to have a ridiculous amount of Wukong practice than Zashu is going to have against Nua.
Yeah.
So there's a slight advantage here for Dimi just based on the fact that I don't think Zashu knows how to fight this properly.
Epsilon just exerting so much force into this mid lane. Ultimate goes up to take out Aero.
Whoa, I didn't know his health was so low.
Yeah, Epsilon has been forcing this situation in the mid lane. Adapting just has not left. He didn't get the double tap onto Scylla, and that's what that communication came from.
This is the jerk team comp, right? They have Ares, who's a jerk. Oh, he doesn't get the cripple. He got the cripple that time, and he uses the flames to avoid the knockup. Just barely gets out, but no, bees.
Bees is one of my least favorite passives, Brandon. With the recent change to the disarm, it's gone up a little bit, but 8 damage a second never makes an impact. And right there is why you never say never.
It's not 8 damage a second when you get hit with Swarm.
Exactly.
Because it's 8 damage a second plus the 11 damage a second from Bluestone.
So, I mean, it's... Wow. That might be the one moment in professional play where we see Bees get a kill.
I think we saw Barracuda get one pretty recently.
Bees?
Bees? You know what's crazy is the God first came out, and everyone in the whole world was like, wow, that ult has an 18-second cooldown. That's so broken. And I'm like, dude, those bees do a lot of damage, man.
Really?
They were doing like 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you would just like keep reapplying them, and they wound up doing like 400. And you're like, yo, bees. And then hi-rez is like, all right, so 8.
And like,
we never see kills ever. 8. But right there, I mean, bees plus Bluestone will get the job done. Emilitoo finding an early kill and actually finishing up his boots. Something I don't like, however, is he has his starter in the second slot, and I want to die.
little bit of a just
can't
compulsion.
I can't
over there.
take it. Why do people do that?
I mean, sometimes you just accidentally buy.
Then sell them and do it again, please.
I'm gonna do this every game.
No, please stop. It drives me crazy.
On the other side, the Hunter did purchase things in the correct order.
Look at London Conspiracy. 5 starter items in the right slots.
And it's very interesting here. So, London Conspiracy's Hunter Shaggyshenk purchased things in the right order, of course, but only trailing by about 200, 300 gold, despite having a death versus a kill on the side of a Muzen comp.
Well, it wasn't first blood. You know, thank God, because I think what happens is if the Hunter gets first blood, that lane ends.
Especially on the Muzen comp, because you just can't control the wave clear.
Oh, Yammyn.
Even as a
Neith. What you doing? Did Yammyn just blindly walk into 3 people for fun?
Yes.
And they ran away.
Well, it's the momentum, Brandon. Again, adapting has been in this lane or close to it the entire game. And don't forget, First Blood came off of Rafer surprisingly being in the middle lane. So London Conspiracy just has been their mind, all right, he's never alone. There's always somebody here.
You know what's crazy, too, is Janus is one of those characters that's like, I'm good at all stages of the game, right? Usually you have a character who's weak in the early, okay in the mid, good at the end, or you know, bad at the end, but really good in the early.
Or at the very least, their role changes like a Thor.
Right. Whereas Janus is just like, I'm really good all the time.
Full stop.
And Scylla's just like, I'm level 6, and I'm doing no damage till 12.
Yeah, Scylla's a character that just has... I mean, I say little to no impact because, of course, a root is a root, right?
Sure.
But little to no impact before level 9.
You know who has a lot of impact? Nua, who forces you to back when your teleport's down. He teleported and then immediately came back and almost died, and then had to go back again, and now his tower's at 20% health. The
burst, you know, it's the burst, and also when you're in the solo lane fighting around minions, it's the burst and the stun, so the minion damage you take afterwards. Rafer blinks in. He's going to pull one. But Emilitoo gets out of there. Uses the beads, though, and it's a beads 1. And here comes adapting the secondary initiate. Can't get out of that one. EmilZ falls down to the stun. Credit to adapting.
I mean, that was a perfect play from both, right? The way that the Geb shield was activated was great. The way that he used the Cataclysm to stop the CC was amazing. But I mean, at the end of the day, there was just way too much damage coming his way. Is there steal potentially?
They have
aero?
to be careful if I'm a monster. And
Gotta blink.
Epsilon understands, and they leash the gold for you, no problem. Again, being very careful about not to throw their lead. Dimi was on the upside of things, but now
Don't do it.
not quite.
Don't do it.
Zashu dive in the tower. 1-2. Zashu takes out Dimi in the solo.
Man, I really didn't want to see him turn around there. There was no reason for Nuwa to try to take that fight. She should have went behind the tower and hoped for the best. But when she turned around, she put herself in a major position of weakness. With this, the first pause going to be used by the team, by the side of Epsilon. They have 2 more remaining.
So Epsilon coming out of things again. They have about a 1,500 to 2,000 gold lead at the moment. Going for that Gold Fury. If they get it, they're up another 2,000, which a 4,000 gold lead doesn't win you the game.
Right.
If they lose it, it's a tie game. Risk versus reward. It's just not releasing that the correct decision. They decide to err on the side of caution, and London Conspiracy have to fight another day.
One of the things I'm loving from the solo laner out the side of LC is that Zashu almost dies, backs, teleports in, almost dies, backs, almost loses his tower, runs back, and immediately starts fighting again.
Right.
He's like, I'm not going to let you bully me.
Oh, yeah.
And then gets the kill.
It's the opposite of the thought process in the mid lane.
Right, exactly. He's just like, keep doing it. Eventually, I'm going to win. I'm learning on the job. This is on-the-job experience right now in a matchup he probably doesn't have, a great understanding of.
And that's the most impressive part of it. If you've ever listened to my broadcast, you know how much I value adaptation, usually in game number 2. Haha. Usually in game number 2, but this is the most impressive because we saw Zashu. I mean, he didn't die, but the equivalent, right? He got forced out of lane, and then got forced out of lane again. He understood, all right, I got to play around the minions. I do this much damage. You hide in the fog, and he played around it, got the kill. As you said, learning on the job right there. We got to see it in front of our eyes.
With that, though, Adapting still manages to get both blue buffs. The tower's on its last legs at this point, and normally having your tier 1 down, it sucks, right? It's just a horrible thing. You have no way to really control the lane anymore. At this stage, you're 8 minutes in. It's not the end of the world. But against Nuwa, it might be. Because now you can't teleport to that tower anymore, meaning you have to invest into even more defensive wards than you'd like to be able to control the area. Plus, if you ever leave that lane, she ults for free and then pressures your tier 2. She doesn't even need minions to do it. She makes her own.
Largely because she can see where you are. That's the point of the ult.
No one going to... Hello? All right.
No vision on the side. If you take a look at the map, there's no vision on the side of London Conspiracy here. You can actually see highlighted is their vision. They have 1 ward on the purple buff and 1 ward on the other side of the map.
230 gold apiece right there?
Uh-huh.
Let's take a look at the graphs there, Zayden. You'll see Epsilon again forging a really decent lead. 3,300 gold at this stage. Again, not the end of the world.
Adapting, looking to push the issue, goes into 2 of them all by himself. There's the Fear No Evil, Adapting in some trouble, uses the hammer to just barely escape the ultimate from the Scylla, who won't be dragged, but she will take some damage. The pings are out as everybody realizes Geb is on his way, and Epsilon looking to cut him off.
So if you guys didn't notice what happened or why he didn't teleport immediately, Adapting uses a level 1 beads there, which means he's CC immune and breaks CC for 1 second. After that 1 second is over, new applications of CC will apply. Now, Fear No Evil, if you're inside the radius, no matter what has happened to you, if you are not CC immune, it will reapply. So he gets feared, he uses his beads, tries to do a little bit of damage, and then he throws the Mjolnirs. The fear reapplies and then ends. He just barely was able to get out of that thanks to that Fear No Evil ending. Had it lasted for a quarter more of a second, they probably would have wound up taking him down, but Adapting once again getting out of danger.
That's one of the biggest things about that Fear No Evil.
Disarmed.
Is that oh no, you've disarmed again. Is that it's multiple ticks of crowd control. It's why it works so well against, as you said, level 1 beads, but also tiers and other characters like that. It ignores all of the benefits that you have about crowd control immunity.
Right.
If you're
Unyielding,
strictly
really important, but it doesn't matter. Oh, shut it down!
Perfect.
Tiger gonna get locked away. He has to ult immediately. I don't think they're going to get that one. No, not yet.
They're not going to get the kill here, but
they're going to follow up, though.
They have. Yes. The wall perfectly placed again so that even animals won't be able to make it out. Zashu dodges the basic, and that's enough for him to get out of there. Fear No Evil up one more time, Adapting, trying to find this kill, and he will on the backside of things. Here's the rest of Epsilon. Only 2 players are here. They rotated from London Conspiracy, but they are going to be in trouble. Yammyn picks up 1. It's Cherio, and he's dead already. Sentinel will get Aero out of dodge, but a lot of damage has been dealt. London Conspiracy noticing the weight on the right side of the map are going to be diving the left side, and Emilitoo on this Muzen Cobb. He's going to survive by waiting in the minions.
Geb shield just barely keeping them alive. He's getting a little bit greedy here, but the thing is you'll note that everything is down. Shaggyshenk had used his entire kit there, and they know that someone's coming. There's no way that a Muzen Cobb would move up that far without knowing that someone's on his way.
There's the double tap into the Berserker's Barrage. Basic attack canceled. So strong mechanically is adapting as he goes ahead and picks up his 3rd kill of the game. 303 on the side of adapting.
Emilitoo is so smart there. The way that he used the bead stopped 2 forms of CC, including the root from the Spirit Arrow. By the time that the Shockwave actually applied, there was no way to damage him anymore. He positioned himself with a tower in between him and the other hunter. At that point, all she had was backflip. The backflip goes off, it doesn't do enough damage, and Geb was forced to retreat. Even with the Geb shield, he almost fell to the tower, plus the 1 extra auto attack that he threw. Emilitoo played that literally as perfectly as it ever could have been. And with that, Epsilon picks up another kill thanks to the rotation.
Exactly, and the thing you didn't even mention, with all of those great points, he even used the minions as a tool, hiding behind the back wave to absorb some of the basic attacks. So everything, all the small things really coming out from Emilitoo there on the side of Epsilon.
7-1 right now. Epsilon kind of reprising the last game. Not a terribly different comp and strategy are they trying to run, but I mean, I go back to the first blood where Rafer just blinks in out of nowhere, and even as a caster who watches the minimap intently, I just missed it completely. Like, why would he have been there? And it was just so clean. And what's crazy is it looked, like you said, like a playbook.
Dimi getting aggressed on here, forced into the air.
They're going to go for this.
That's largely defensive. The dive at a lot of Conspiracy is here, hiding in the fog for just a moment. Dimi waiting, and he's going to fall. Zashu gets credit, but very low is Cherio. He's behind the tower.
Bye-bye. That's 1. Is it going to be worth? Oh, you're caught. Bye-bye.
And that's 2.
And, you know, what's crazy is that's Dimi they picked up. He was 1-1. So they turned someone into a 1-2 to trade out to a person who's now 2-2 and a person who's 0-2. That's a huge win for Epsilon. Emilitoo's dead, though. I mean, right? Like,
that's what we said last time around, Brandon. He has a very strong network of hives here.
He's alive.
Able to use the movement
Why
speed
didn't Shaggy ult?
I can't answer that question. Usually I try to find
some adapting again. We've already seen this play. Oh, okay, they're going to switch it up by bringing Yammyn over, too, so we get shotgunner.
Unfortunately for Epsilon, not enough. But here from the backside, here's Rafer. 1-2 chains. 3 chains is strong enough, and adapting cleans it up one more time. 5 in a row for the jungler on the side of Epsilon. He's half of the kills on the side of his team.
And then immediately we see a teleport come out from Zashu. Now, this might hurt a little bit given the fact that the right lane is so pished up, but remember, with the Gold Fury being alive, they need more presence with those dead.
Right.
So he, by teleporting to left, couldn't control that area and force them away. In fact, the mid tower doesn't even go down. Good teleport from Zashu.
You know, adapting seems to be all over the map, and a lot of times that's a feel thing. Look at his slash line. He is involved in every kill but 1. And that was the solo kill in the solo lane.
Yeah, that's true. Wow. I mean, but this is why we praise him so much. His presence of mind to rotate when he does is untouchable.
It's the combination. I mean, you were breaking down the mechanics before. The basic attack cancels and the walls instead of the stuns. It's all of that plus a bag of chips. He's got the mindset and the understanding of map presence, and that's really why he's able to do what he does. It's not just pushing the buttons, it's the thought process behind it as well.
The left-handed Hunter really burning down this Gold Fury. 15 minutes in, again, the second Gold Fury of the game that had absolutely no contest whatsoever. Zidane to the graphs.
There it is, 66-91 goal difference between these two teams, just 15.5 minutes in, and Epsilon is taking this game in spades.
Wow, 7,000. I mean, 7,000 at this stage again. It's a perfect repeat, except this time they're relying on aero, right? This time it's 100% mage value that they're looking for endgame. The I'm a Monster must connect, but he's level 13, right?
Don't be so cheesy. You hit me with one before. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what it was.
It was the pull versus...
There you go.
Free, or something. Yeah, all right. All right. Nobody heard that. All right, only you got that joke.
You very clearly said I'm a monster. I mean, I could have also called you Lurch.
All right, that would have been good too. You had a whole stock of them ready to go.
Oh, come on.
You just sit at home and do this all day?
What do you think they pay me to come into the office for? I've got a notebook. I handed out
paid for this?
Yes.
What?
In gems.
Oh, gems. All right, yeah. Yeah, lots of gems.
Backside engagement out of Emilitoo, rolling around, catching many players, but the follow-up just isn't strong enough. Cherio with the secondary initiate. I'm a monster completely off the mark. Aero gets hit with a double tap, no follow-up. Bees are enough, plus a bluestone. Emilitoo with credit for that. Dimi gets a kill onto Zashu in the mid lane, and the push from Epsilon is strong enough to confirm a tier 2.
Even if that I'm a Monster had hit, I don't think we were going to see the reset right there. Oh, by the way, the min-max, I can't. He teleports over the wall after auto-attacking through the cancel to make sure he gets the creep camp at the same time to not only get a little bit of extra experience, but heal himself using the Bumbus Mask. Like, this guy is on top of the world.
Here comes Cherio. Teleports to the backside, jumps out. Love the plays from Cherio, but unfortunately, 0-2-1, level 13, comparatively speaking, to 17 on adapting. He's just not able to do much. It's a numbers game for Cherio. I'm liking the decisions coming out of him. The secondary initiates out of the Fear No Evils. The teleports to the back line and finding safety.
Oh!
Even the chase of this kill I like. Unfortunately, the teleport not so hot.
Yeah, he's
going to trade his life here, but
he's not going to make it out of this one. Fear No Evil going to get used again. Archers plus B's going to clean that one up again. Credited to Emilitoo. A rather unfortunate teleport. He didn't hit the button fast enough. It winds up going to the secondary target. It sends him not only to the Fire Giant, but the Fire Giant begins to attack. Ooh, that's harsh.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he had to make the play.
Exactly.
Something needed to happen.
And that's what I'm saying. Cherio, don't forget he's the substitute here. And he is the one that's he's the one with the mental fortitude to make these plays. His numbers just aren't there. It's a numbers game. He doesn't have the items, unfortunately.
Yeah, gonna force the ult. Remember, Zashu, Stone of Gaia. Very important item on a character like Wukong in the magical matchup. The issue is then he went into Jotuns, meaning he has 0 physical defense. At this point, he has no tankiness and will get destroyed by the level 17 Hunter.
Would you rather see the Spirit Robe or something else?
Runeforged?
What'd you say?
Nail of Renewal every game. In every
It's a very strong item. Fire Giant is down. Epsilon, they're going to go to town. 1 kill on the side of Emilitoo as he takes out EmilZ, diving the tier 2 tower on the right side. Emilitoo gets 2 for him. Looking for a third as the Tiger Stun is avoided. Now being used as an escape. Here comes adapting. He's sped up by the threshold. Basic into the Berserkers. Yammyn gets credit for that off of the assist from the jungler. All 5 members of Epsilon will push down this tower, and the tier 2 will fall, adding another 1,500 gold to the already incredible lead by Epsilon.
Now the issue here is, yes, there's 2 ultimates available, but Fear No Evil only is basically a setup, and I'm a Monster's not going to do any damage at this point. They have no defensive value whatsoever. In fact, Aero might fall here. I'm a Monster going to be used early. She might get damage. She will not get the reset.
Here comes the damage. I'm a Monster does hit Emilitoo, but it's just 20% of his HP. Not even.
If she's a monster, she's definitely the tickle monster, because that was not a fully level mage attack. That was a grazing onto a hunter. That's a hunter that she just hit for less than a quarter.
Exactly. Emilitoo on the hunter. He's supposed to be the squishier character, but he's level 18 and only 15
on the
Scylla.
New skin, Tickle Monster Circuit?
No.
Come on, man. You'd buy it.
I would, because I get paid in gems.
You just buy everything.
Pecky's has over 8,000 hours of boosters.
I thought it was days.
Over 8,000 days of boosters on his account.
So how many years is that?
I mean, 8,000 days, 365 days in a year. So you figure like 1,000 days, give or take, for
3 years.
For 3 years. So 8,000. That's, what is that? 3 times 8. So
24 years.
24.
Older than all of our pro players. Except for Lazes, who's like 100.
You got Lazes?
I'm a month older than Lazes.
You got Lazes? I think Fexes is older.
Really?
I think so.
Oh.
I could be completely incorrect.
Shout out to old men.
The beard is intense, so that makes me think he's older.
Beard is intense.
Adapting.
Also intense, Shaggyshenk able to dodge. Nice. Adapting, though, still find the follow-up. I love that option. That's such a good option.
Which option?
He messed the wall up, so he's like, I could Mjolnir's, but then I can't teleport, so I'm just going to hit it with Berserkers and see what she does.
Yeah. Just wait for the response. Playing for the response is generally what we see these players do. A little cheeky.
What?
Portal.
What is he doing? Just stop it.
So this is actually fun to see. Yammyn, he portals himself. He doesn't want to take too much damage, but he drops a threshold, Brandon.
Right,
he's able to tank without tanking damage.
You know, Chang'e can actually do that while dealing damage with proper dancing.
Oh, right, with the dances?
Yeah, if you have to have, like, perfect 180 movement and, like, everything. But she can do it. And there's someone else.
New skin. Kevin Costner skin for Chang'e. Make the bunny a wolf, dances with wolves. I'm clocking out, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. It's been fun. Mid lane being aggressed on here by Epsilon in our just 21st minute. It feels so much later as Epsilon has been able to take this game by the reins and really drive it into the base. Almost a 20,000 gold lead on the side
Rafer,
of the #1 team in Europe.
Looking for 3. Zashu taking a lot of damage, forced to ult early, still doesn't have a level of beats. EmilZ very low, Cataclysm goes off, not going to be enough to save him. Zashu trying to make a play here, most of his kit's already down as Adapting takes to the sky, the back line not going to find the kill.
Shaggyshenk picks up Yammyn, but Adapting is going to come out of the base because he went very deep. And he's able to pick up Shaggyshenk. Dimi gets the last hit on that one, so 2 for him.
I think that's going to be all she wrote as the 3rd Phoenix will not fall. They're still trying to attack it.
They are attacking it. And right now, I don't have to be in Epsilon's comms to hear everybody screaming at Emilitoo. Of course, before you kill the towers, the Phoenixes are invincible. Emilitoo put about 5 seconds worth of damage into that Phoenix.
It's vincible now.
It's out-vincible.
It's out-vincible.
Here comes the rollout, and walled off by Thor. Adapting.
Are they backing? There's
no.
3 Phoenixes down. Oh, I guess they don't have Yammyn anymore. Wow, they're playing this
Rafer
super close. Golden hand, you'll see about 2K plus pretty much in everyone's hands. So
we've reached the, well, we're 19 and some change. Let's take a look at the graphs. Have we reached the 20,000 threshold? Yes, we have. 20,000 gold lead for Epsilon. I don't believe it's the largest we've seen all season. I think we've seen 26, but
Emilitoo,
very close.
There's 3 people there. And there's 2 for your team, I guess. So yeah, you'll take down EmilZ maybe. Spirit gun right to the back. EmilZ didn't see it coming, and he's going to take a quick trip back to the base. 40 seconds, he'll have to think about that one.
Chains are strong onto the real Zashu, the fake Zashu on the backside, but both of them will be taken out by a spin to win, and Emilitoo gets the last hit onto the monkey. And that'll secure the solo later's death on the side of London Conspiracy. Epsilon have 5 members alive. They're going to the right side of the map. EmilZ not going to be spawning for about 15 seconds. Zashu out for 30 plus. Epsilon pour into the middle of the base.
Cherio's got beads here. Won't get pulled, but now he is a sitting duck, and Adapting's looking to abuse it. Stun not going to hit as Adapting gets turned on, almost taking someone down inside the base. Still, it's all about the reset. Does he get it?
Aero.
No, doesn't get the second
Not
one.
enough. Shaggyshenk picks up a kill, though, and this is fantastic defense coming out from London Conspiracy. It's enough to send Epsilon packing. 2 deaths on the side of the blue team. Only 3 members are alive versus the 4, and the incoming spawning of London, and that's a defensive set to remember.
But here's the issue is 2,700 gold in hand for Thor right now, plus the 533 that he's going to get for selling Bumbas. Literally any item in the game now belongs to him. If he wants a Deathbringer, and hopefully he doesn't, but if he wants a Deathbringer, he can buy one.
What does he want?
Hard to say. I would probably say magical defense at this stage. Given the fact that he's already maxed out on CDR, I would probably avoid the Spirit Robe. Something like Stone of Gaia, considering how long he just fought, would probably be his best bet. That or Bulwark.
Interesting. I wonder if we go Shifter Shield just for pure damage. London Conspiracy try to pull a fast one on Epsilon. They start the Fire Giant, and this is an all-in by a London Conspiracy. 2 of their members already dead, 3 survive. London Conspiracy.
Spirit Gun, no, almost found it. I mean, Shaggy's in a lot of trouble, though.
I like the play. I respect it coming out from London as Emilitoo secures a kill onto Aero, and he's still ready to fight. Here we are. We're going to ride right along with him as he gets knocked up into the air. He's rooted. And he's going to look for the kill onto Neith. Can he get the slow? It doesn't matter. The Titan falls to the minions. Winions, ladies and gentlemen. Epsilon take 2 games over their opponent.
I didn't even see that was
London
happening.
Conspiracy.
Did you see that?
I did. London didn't.
I was watching the fight. Minions do a lot. I mean, when you have 3 Phoenixes down and you can't control them plus the Fire Giant, it becomes almost impossible. Now, I respect the call to go for FG.
I absolutely love it. It was literally an all-in. We'll take a look as Rafer surprisingly makes it to the mid lane in time to secure first blood off of the help of his teammates.
And there was nothing, right? There was no counterplay to that. As soon as that first chain hit, he was dead because there were 2 other members of Epsilon standing in front, which means if the Sikkim hit, it hit the wrong person. The chains were guaranteed. That was 100%. When that first chain connected, that might have even been the game. Shutting a Scylla down, harsh.
I mean, it's definitely the look you want to do, and coming through off of that kill,
player of the game was who?
I believe it was
Adapting.
Adapting.
Oh my God, so
surprising
crazy.
here. 6-1 and 14 on the Thor
Look at this
jungle.
guy.
Again, just in almost every single kill that Epsilon brought to the table, everywhere, omnipresent.
And it was a perfect Cataclysm. It stunned both of them and avoided the CC, but then, you know, you have the Nua ult coming, and the chains are there, and then he comes back, he's like, hey, we can do this again. He almost gets out of this, too. EmilZ barely, I mean, one more tick would have actually gotten him out of there. Shame.
Very, very close coming out for that, but Adapting does win our player of the game. And as we said, just all over the map, very big part of the Epsilon win.
With that, Epsilon extends their lead in Europe to, I think, a dominating 15?
15 wins,
Is
yes.
that it? Is that it? Man, that's like crazy.
We'll take a look at our top performers here at the bottom of your screen. Alpha Draft, Adapting again, #1.
I'm just not surprised anymore. It's no longer like fun to me. It's just like Adapting, again, dominates everybody.
Just
Right.
doing so strong, so very well coming out of the jungler.
It's crazy to see how well this team has done, and we're going to talk a little bit about it with the captain of the team as we're joined by Rafer.
Hello, Rafer. How you doing? Congratulations on your wins.
Good evening, gents. Thank you.
So, Rafer, one loss so far, very close to undefeated, guaranteed going to LAN. Have your sights changed to just straight Worlds, or are you still focused on the season games that you've yet to play?
Before today's game, we were concentrating on this split still, but we're kind of going off that a little bit as we only need 3 more wins to be guaranteed first seed,
Right.
and that's obviously our first priority.
That's what I like to hear. You mentioned not land, but first seed. You guys aren't aiming for the truck. You guys want to get #1. I like that feel. You can see it in your games. And I mean, really, what is the thought process going into these games? Because you're considered the top card a lot of the time. Do you feel like you can win every game, or do you still prepare and are careful to do what you do against your opponents?
As long as we give Adapting every last hit, then that's a happy King Kenneth, and that means Elo, as all the EU ranked players know.
King Kenneth. I've seen it around the ranks. It's definitely definitely something that's helped you guys out. But jokes aside, it's really been a team effort. Dimi doing very well in the solo lane again. Is from the outside looking in, a lot of the fans just talk about Adapting. How do you guys deal with that as a unit to bring it more of a team-based playtime?
As you guys already know, like, I picked all the strongest players for every role, like mechanically, and from that, I believe I've drafted the best team, and we've all learnt the game together. I've learnt a lot about Smite this season, and it's getting better and better.
The difference between boss and leader, right there.
Oh yeah.
So before we let you go, one more question here, and this concerns. You guys are still scrimming Titan mainly, yes?
Nope.
No.
We're now scrim partners with Fnatic.
Oh, so maybe that has to do with Fnatic, their resurgence here.
Ah.
Does that have to do with the solo laner getting replaced, or has this been a few weeks?
It's basically due to how we think the seedings are going to finish at the end of this split, and Fnatic I think they were on the ride upwards as we started scrimming them. Like they were already working their way up. So I mean, it's nothing but beneficial for them. But they were, they're strong enough anyway. Definitely respect Fnatic.
Well, it works out very well. Both of you guys obviously on the upper end of things. Now, before I let you go, Rafer, is there anything, any shout-outs, any call-outs? Nothing to do with being a ginger?
Ooh, the shots, dude. Shout-outs to Ronnie Pickering, Young Bay for all his work, obviously my stream, and my lucky cup of tea that helped me get through my hangover today.
Awesome. Where can we find you on Twitch?
Twitch.tv/iRaffer.
Excellent. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your recent wins. That, of course, is Rafer, support and captain for Epsilon, team that just wins 2-0. We'll take a look at how that shook up the standings, and, well, it didn't. On top is just still Epsilon 19-1.
I mean, they're maybe uncatchable at this point, right? He said he needs 3 more wins. It's likely we're going to see that. You see Titan 9-9 compared to Fnatic, who find themselves at 12-6 now.
Yeah, just
wow.
Strong stuff out in Europe, and really just inching out away from the pack is the rest of them. And we'll take a look at the next match is going to be our match of the week. It's Cloud9 versus Enemy.
So both teams have a lot of a lot riding on this game. Cloud9 had a lot of issues. They missed a lot of wins, specifically because of connectivity issues and other things like that. So they need to work themselves back in. Enemy has found themselves towards the top of the pack, you know, maybe not based off of that, but more of they're getting these huge surprise wins.
Right.
They need to beat Cloud9 here. To me, in my head, it's like Enemy can solidify by just winning one game that they deserve the place that they're in by taking one game off of C9.
Yeah, I mean, Enemy started off the gate, came out of the gates just so strong, and for a lot of people, they feel like reality set in.
Plus, there's been a lot of different roster changes. You know, they might replace Barracuda. Who knows?
We'll take a look in just a couple of minutes. Make sure you tune in. It's going to be our next match here on twitch.tv/MikeGame. We'll see you in a few.
I'd rather see you in my dreams. And every chance to dance I'll take if I can't see you I'd rather see you in my dreams. And every chance to dance I'll take if I can't see you again. We could